Good afternoon, everyone. Does this mic go back into the barns, or is it just here? Just right here, okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the National Show and Sale. My name is Carla Blackstock. For those of you who have not met me, I am the new executive director, and I want to thank you all for taking the time to join us here as well as online. I know that Taylor Fort is live streaming us. So we've got, last year we had over 300 online, so we've got a good group watching us. This past 5.5 months has definitely been a whirlwind for me, but I believe we've made some great strides. I've been working with Rhonda with the Dorper report. This last one was all full color, and it was profitable. That reaches about 1,500 households every 3 months. We do have an opportunity if you'd like to advertise in it. We have some sign-up sheets over here on our cork board. Our registrations are being done same day, so if you talk to Rhonda or Linda in the office, let them know that you're appreciative of that. We do have some mail issues that we've seen some things going out and not going out very quickly, but we are turning those around one day, so if you don't get them, please call in and just talk to Rhonda at the office. This last March, our board met face-to-face for the first time since COVID, and we had a lot of great discussions around our strategic plan over the next 3 to 5 years. And I'll introduce you to those board members here in just a minute. You can follow along in your handout. If you don't have a handout and you want one, raise your hand and we'll get one over to you. Somebody will get one over to you. There we go. I'll pass those up for you. Tonight's meeting should take about an hour, and immediately following that, I'd like to have a quick meeting with the juniors, and then we'll go into showmanship. So if you have a junior, just please stay put, and we will give you some directions on the competitions tomorrow. Our 2024 board, we have Justin Ransom serving as president, Ben Binkley vice president, Sharon Holman, J.R. Howard, Carrie Paul, Charlie Taylor, Brian Ferris, Doug Gillespie, and Leanne Winters, who was unable to join us this year. At this time, I will turn the meeting over to Justin, and he will talk to you for just a few minutes.
Thank you, Carla, and good evening, everyone here and those online. Hopefully, we have a robust conversation this evening around what we're doing and how we're working to serve you as members. So at this time, with the quorum being present, I call this meeting to order. The minutes of the 23 annual meeting have been distributed and you can be found in the meeting packet. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes from last year's annual meeting? If none, I'll take a motion and a second. It's been moved and seconded by Lance Weaver and Doug Gillespie. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion carries, approving the minutes of the 2023 annual meeting. The financial report has been distributed and can be found in your meeting packet also. As you'll see in that, we'll get more into the details of the financial committee in our financial committee report. Financially, we're in very good standing. Are you aware of any corrections to the financial report that we need to make note of? And if not, do I have a motion to accept the financial report as presented? Motion to move and second. It's been moved and seconded by Mr. Phillips and Ron Waldron. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. So we've approved the 2023 financial report. As Carla mentioned, in March, we spent a day and a half together as a board. We hadn't done that since COVID, pre-COVID, and actually haven't done it since I've been on the board, and this is my 4th year. And so really spending time together, looking through what the strategic priorities are. We have a long-range plan that we're working against, but with registrations somewhat flat, with making sure that we're keeping an eye on the future and want to continue to grow the breed, we knew that we needed to get together to figure out how are we going to invest in the resources that we have. With more than $700,000 in cash, how do we invest that in a meaningful way that will help grow the breed? And so that's what the committee is going to share with you over the next 30 minutes or so. The board of directors is going to share with you of the committees they put together, of how we plan to strategically go after the things that we know are going to create the most value in the immediate term, the next 12 to 24 months, and continue working towards making sure that we're getting to where we believe that we can be as a committee. These committees and their missions and goals are in the annual packet, and we're going to go through each of those one by one. I'm not going to belabor the points, but we're excited about the work that's going on there. Carla?
Thank you, Justin. Before we get to each committee, I'd like to talk about the organizational chart that's in there. As you can see, we've got the 4 committees that are going to be working simultaneously, and each of those are going to have their own mission and their own goals. And as they are able to develop data or information that is useful to our members, to our prospective members, and to our youth, they will funnel that information down into a strategic communications and marketing committee. And that committee will be tasked with disseminating the information to the appropriate audiences with using the appropriate channels. So as our youth become older and have their own herds, do we need to add social media a little bit more? Those are the types of questions that the Strategic Communications Committee will be looking into, trying to find the best way to disseminate the information to the right audiences. Okay, before we get into the specific committees, Justin's going to talk a little bit about some of the research updates I think that we put in there. We skipped over that. So.
Yeah, sorry, just to follow the agenda, we're going to talk real quickly about the research updates. So you can go to about 4 pages in, an Agnathia research update that characterizes the work that Dr. Darrell Grant continues to oversee with researchers at, I believe, at Oklahoma State University. The challenge of Agnathia is it's difficult to find, and it's difficult to be expressed because there's a lot of recessive there are recessive carriers, and so it's not something that it's easy to find genetically. But there is a research trial that's going on to try to identify the specific genes and markers that are causing this recessive trait to show up. A specific research trial where there's 24 ewes that are believed to be carriers, so their sire has sired agnathic lambs, so they're believed to be carriers on both the male and female side. 24 of these ewe lambs they're watching to lamb. 10 of them have lambed. All of the offspring so far, I'm getting an update daily from Dr. Grant. 10 of the offspring, or 10 of the ewe lambs have lambed. All the lambs are normal. Obviously, whenever they have a agnathic lamb that comes out of one of these 24, it's going to be a carrier on both sides, and we'll be able to isolate genes in the genome of 3.2 billion sequences much quicker than we would if we were just hunting for it. So it's really about trying to narrow the gene pool to understand first what is the marker, and then understand the genetic prevalence. This is not only associated with Dorper sheep, and it's something that we're trying to understand the significance to the breed. But we believe that it's something that we need to know more about, and that's the reason that we're doing research on it. It's been found in other breeds before Dorpers, and we're just trying to make sure that we understand if it is in our breed, how do we characterize it appropriately and manage risk associated with it. We will be keeping the association up to date as this research continues, and it's something that as good stewards and business people, we're trying to make sure that we have all the information and share it with you as appropriately to manage that and understand relative risk as we continue to look at Dorpers. Yes.
When did this research start, this clinical trial? When did it start, and are we investing in it? If so, how much?
So we have invested in the research over the last several years. I don't know the number off the top of my head. It's probably over the last 3 or 4 years, somewhere around $20,000, $25,000.
So for that investment, this is all the data we have?
Yes, basically we're looking for specific genes.
Yeah, okay.
And quite frankly, it could be a lot more. Yeah.
Since this disorder is in very, a lot of different species, why aren't they looking into it, and why are we looking into it? I understand that, it's ultimately it's important.
Yeah.
But what made this level to the top as a priority for us to get our attention to invest in?
Right. So the question is, why did this become a research priority? And it was something that there's an impression that it may have come from imported genetics, and it is in other breeds, as trying to be a commercial breed, or as we talk about the business breed, if you will, as we think about marketing to a larger group of commercial producers. We just want to make sure that we are not a carrier of the problem. We're not propagating the problem. And so
So investment is going to continue until this gene has been sequenced?
pardon me?
So investment in this trial is going to continue until the gene is sequenced?
So we're planning, essentially, most of the work is being paid for by USDA. So they've spent several $100,000 over the last few years. We've supported through sending samples in to Oklahoma State primarily. But our investment will continue theoretically through this trial. Hopefully this trial will kind of close the book on the work that's being done and also help understand the relative likelihood of it being transmissible or not.
Okay. So is it going to maintain a priority, because in the genetic research and data committee, it's not listed on here. So
Okay.
continue to.
Right. So certainly the research and data committee will characterize that. I think Daryl Grant is going to be on that committee, and so I know he will continue to push its relative priority. But good questions. Thank you for asking them. Yep. Yep. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, JR.
All right. We're going to visit just real quick about the progeny test we're doing with Texas A&M AgriLife Research Center in San Angelo. I think everybody's probably seen some of that either through the social media or website. So I'm not going to go into a lot of the goals and stuff here. If you want to read through that, you can. I just want to kind of give you an update of where we are on it. We have had our first round of lambs. If you're not familiar, I'll go real quick over. A&M out there has about 100 NSIP enrolled Dorper and white Dorper ewes with EBVs, and they've got, I think it was a 7 or 8 year history with those. So what we did was take donor rams from producers last year, bred them to those ewes. Those were all genetic tested. This is all pasture based, so it's real world. They're out in 600-700 acre pastures, breeding groups of ewes. They're not in pens. They're not in a controlled scenario. All those were genetic tested for parentage, and so right now we've had that group of lambs. We've done weaning weights. We've done post weaning weights. You'll see that data here on the sheet, and also all this will be updated as we get it in on the Dorper website. So we have weaning, post weaning weights is most of the data right now at this point. We're just started the artificial and the natural parasite resistance test. So we've got one section of lambs that are going to be basically inoculated with homunculus in the pens in a controlled scenario, and then we're going to have sheep turned out in the pasture on just a natural scenario. So both of those will be coming up. We'll have the results on that here in a couple of months as we get that test done. When we wrap that up, those buck lambs will be going to the meat lab and having a complete carcass evaluation done. We're even going to do the and I always forget the name of it, but the smoke test on the meat quality that Texas Tech has been doing, all the way down to kind of to that level. Those ewe lambs are going back into the breeding program to be bred back to the rams from this next test scenario. So it'll just be another generation of EBV data, and every generation we get out of that, those percentages go up on the accuracy. So that's kind of where we're at. We sure want to push for members from all across the country to submit rams to using this test. I know we've got a good selection this year, kind of from across the country. Some of those actually already have EBVs, so that'll be good, being able to use those against some ewes that have EBVs. So this will be an ongoing test. I think we're committed to 3 years of it at this point, and we'll start compounding that data after year one. That'll sure help a lot going forward. I think that's about it to this point. Does anybody have any questions kind of on this program or kind of what we're doing with it? Everybody good? So just be watching the website. We'll be posting the updates on all the data. You'll have it all to look at going forward. So just watch the website, and we'll try to put it on Facebook when some new data comes out to go look at for it.
Thank you, JR. So if you'll reference this kind of flow chart, this 24-25 action plan, we're just going to go across the top. Finance and Process Committee. One of the things as the incoming president, I really wanted some help and some expertise to be able to speak with confidence relative to where we're at in our finances, and also how do we get more professional and business-like in terms of how we think about our day-to-day activities. Specifically, challenging to have some of the best minds helping us think through our finances. We asked William Phipps, who is a CPA. He's a member in Delaware. I'm sure many of you know him in the eastern region. A great breeder, but also a great mind relative to finance and specifically CPA type activities. He specializes in tax, but he's a trained CPA, and so we asked him to be a part of our committee. Sharon Holman, by the way, co-chairs the committee with me. Lance Weaver, well-known in his expertise in banking and business cases, is helping us as we think through how do we make the right decisions relative to our finances that we have. And for example, as CDs mature, what do we do with our money? So he's helping us with that, as well as developing a process for business cases. And then Leanne Winters has been a great colleague to really get in and dig in the books. As Carla was joining the organization, there were questions relative to the outside firm that we have managing our books, really getting into the details and the precisions of how do we make sure we're managing our finances in a way that we can drill down and see a lot of different things that some of the members are asking us to report on. And so in doing so, we've continued to create basically a working plan. So relative to the Finance Committee, we have an annual review, just for your awareness, to give you confidence in terms of the way we're managing money. But there's also a list of, these are out of order, I apologize. As you see, each of these committees have basically a description of what the committee work is. So long and short, reviewing our annual financial plan and forecasts, quarterly financial statements. So this committee is going to be presenting to the board on a quarterly basis. Status of operating revenue, investments, and appropriate any concerns facing the society. I think one of the big things is developing a charter and processes more robust than what we currently have. And then last but not least is work that's going on relative to the registry. So I've asked this committee to lead our work relative to going through the RFP process to select a new registry. The current registry, online registry we have, is soon to be obsolete. And we'll either upgrade to the current registry we have, which will look like a completely different system than what we have, or we will select a new registry that we will migrate to a new registry. And so we've asked this Finance Committee to oversee the selection from both a technical, but more importantly, a financial perspective, because it is the single largest revenue driver for the society. And we want to make it easier, more transparent, and ultimately potentially use it to create EBVs that tie into either NSIP or other data registries that allows us to not only understand the parentage of the animals, but also any genetic protectors that we might get into. So that's a lot, but that's the work that we're doing in the Finance Committee. I'm excited about the team that we have working on it, and I'll turn it over to the next person, who is Member Services, Brian and Doug.
Thank you, Justin. We're excited to be able to bring the Member Education Services Committee to you, and just some goals that we have, and we'll go over some of those quickly. I think we've got an outstanding team, and really the mindset behind this is really equipping our membership. And without education, without a lot of these ideas that we're going to be presenting, there's a lot of producers that get into the Dorper industry, and they just get in it because they think it's a neat thing to do, and they don't really have all of the details. And sometimes they can wade off into it too quick, and they can get over their head. And so what we hope to do is be able to provide some education, not only for those individuals, but then for those of us that have been in the business for a while. We still don't know it all. There's no way that I know it all. And so it still keeps pushing us to educate ourselves and be better. And so one of the things that we've wanted to do is just equip our membership with information, and so just related to selection, evaluation. We've got however many sheep back here, they all look a little bit different. And when we go to talking to each other in terms of terminology, a lot of times we don't use the same terms, and we're all talking about the same areas of the sheep. And so just some things as simple as that, but really also talking about the importance of each stage of evaluation, selection, nutrition, reproduction, health, management, how we handle stock. I don't know if y'all have noticed, Dorpers and white Dorpers handle a little differently than other breeds of sheep. And so what does that mean in terms of handling sheep? And so also, can we expose members to different management strategies and how they compare? We know individuals that are in Missouri are not going to raise sheep the exact same way people in New Mexico or Texas are going to, or the way folks in the New England area are going to raise stock. And so we're not trying to cookie cutter an approach here, and we want to be able to provide some educational materials that somebody from that particular area can grab something that's relative to their needs and run with it. Also, better understand the need for data collection and how it can benefit their operation. Sheep folks are way behind in terms of collecting data. Oftentimes we say, well, we run so many in some cases that it's hard to collect the data. And in some cases, well, my flock is so small, does it really impact me if I collect data? And so we want to explore that option and make that known to you as well. Educate our judges on the Dorper and white Dorper breed standard and certify individuals to judge our shows. We have a fairly limited number of judges. We want to expand that, but we also want to keep everything in line and make sure that we're all following and working from the same breed standard. Educate our collegiate 4-H and FFA judging coaches on the Dorper white Dorper breed standard to help them better understand the Dorper and white Dorper sheep industry itself. So obviously, and some of your kids may be participating in livestock judging. I'm just curious, how many of you kids that are out there right now are on a livestock judging team? Go ahead and raise your hand. There you go. That's good. All right. I like that. Okay. You guys are going to be our future judges. Okay. But we have a large number of coaches out there that they don't fully understand the Dorpers. And so oftentimes they may come to your house to work out and ask you to help coach on their team. And so this is just a way that we can help provide them some education. We're trying to include them more and more in our livestock judging contest. And so those kids that they're training that will eventually come out and be a large source of judges across the country, we want to be able to get them on the same page as we are. Again, just defining a concise breed standard. We're not saying that we're going to change anything, okay? So if you've heard this rumor, don't be too worried, okay? Let's get through it. Let's see what it shapes up to be before anybody starts worrying too much about this. We just want to make sure it's concise. It's something that we have, that we own. And then develop educational curriculums. We talked about at the beginning, how do we disseminate this information? So selection, evaluation, nutrition, all those topics, how can we get that information out to the masses? We live in a very technology advanced world today, right? So webinars, people are doing webinars all the time. You can log on at your desk. You can join in for an hour, and it can be a interchange of information. So we're looking at that as a potential opportunity, doing field days where we bring everybody in, do more of a hands-on, and then short courses where we can do half-day type events. And then obviously, if we're going to train judges, we need some judge-based short courses, heavy on live evaluation, and then a test and certification. So those are some of the things that we're working on. Again, we've got a great group to work with. We've got a lot of ideas that will float around in that group. We're going to start meeting after we conclude with Duncan. We'll start getting into May and really start honing down on this. It says 2025, Justin, but this is going to take us a little longer than this year. So don't expect all of this to be done this year, but recognize that we are going to be working very hard to give you some information.
Thank you, Brian. I want to pick up on the resources, which is really where we turn to the membership at this point. We've got a very robust plan to work on. We'll take some questions when we get done here. But there are lots of opportunities for members to be involved. We're going to need information regarding the climates, where Dorpers are working successfully for you in various climates of the U.S. Obviously, with the webinars and that sort of thing, we're going to be, and on sites, we're going to be doing video work. So we may be investing in some video equipment, but we believe that we can do a lot of the video work using, making some connections with communication schools, the communications programs at some of the ag schools, and getting that done at a cheaper budget than full value of video work and editing video, which I think you can understand would be a little bit expensive. We do need testimonials. We need members who have had success in the commercial industry under varying conditions that can step forward and articulate with a little bit of data the success they've had, so that we can use those kinds of testimonials in advertising and in programs to address the commercial industry. We've identified a few people, and you can see there a few people in this testimonial area, but I'm sure we're not aware. I'm sure there are real success stories out there around the country that we need to identify and get those people on video so we can use them. One of the challenges that we have, and it's less of a challenge now than it was 5 or 10 years ago, is we need access to quality Dorper sheep for educational programs in various parts of the country. Obviously, if we're doing an educational program in Texas, it's fairly easy to round up 50 head of Dorpers and white Dorpers, or 100 head if that's what's needed. But in some parts of the country, it's harder than others, and those are the areas that we frankly get complaints saying, why don't you do a program in our area? There's a lot of potential for growth, which is very true. But if we go there, we need to have access. We need producers that are willing to share their animals for a weekend, that sort of thing, so that we can train judges, we can train breeders and management techniques and all that sort of thing. You see some of the lists of people there that have been successful in the commercial realm, and also the farm-to-table market, which is a huge market for Dorper producers. You see the members of our committee, which I really think is a good blue ribbon committee of people with varying histories and varying participation within the industry that can bring a lot of insight. But if you've got ideas or thoughts on people that you can steer us towards to help with this committee's work, get in touch with either Brian or I. Thank you. Next.
The next committee that we're going to discuss is the Genetic Research and Data Committee. And Terry's going to get us kicked off.
Yeah, JR already shared with you the endeavor we have with A&M with that sire test. And what this committee's kind of looking at is to find a lot of different opportunities across the country, different places, and find collaborators within universities, within commercial breeders and so forth, to gather information that we can all use that'll strengthen our breed and really tell the story of Dorpers in the commercial world. Certain things like performance trials, parasite resistance trial, get that information to people and prove to people the advantage that we all enjoy with Dorpers. We're trying to develop a plan to build and facilitate the use of EBVs. It hasn't been real easy. NSIP is kind of the way to go. In this country, that's where the data all goes to. Well, it hasn't been the easiest to even submit data. So that's, as we move to a new database, a new registry, hopefully we'll have one that will also facilitate the input of data that will help bring accuracy and relevance to the EBVs. We also kind of think that we need to utilize facilities, or I should say opportunities like this. We have 2 big shows and sales a year that we sponsor, here and also in Cookeville. And we think it's really important that we try to utilize these opportunities to get data. We tried to have a live carcass contest, and it was just kind of too late to really get it going. We did identify a packer that was willing to do it, and it was just kind of a hard time of year, I guess, for people to have the right weight. The packer did limit us to 100 pounds, and they didn't want them any bigger than that, and it did kind of hurt our numbers. Let's just put it that way. But we feel like with more planning, next year we plan to try to do it again, and we have much greater numbers. So Cookeville, another opportunity to do the same thing. One thing we did do here today actually was collect ultrasound data on all of the fall rams and ewes, and we hope to continue to do that kind of thing when we have the opportunity. This budget or this committee is made up of myself and J.R. Howard as the co-chairs, Charlie Taylor, Sharon Holman, Bill Keeker, Jenny Carr, and Justin Marshall. If you have any ideas or you have people that you know that maybe we could contact to help drive some research and gather data, let us know. We're sure open to suggestion. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Carrie. The final committee is the youth committee, and Ben Binkley and I are co-chairing the youth committee. This has been a committee that has been going on, and we've changed it and this year to just open up some new ideas and hopefully bring in some fresh perspectives and how we can help the youth. We've got some competitions going on this weekend, tomorrow and this evening, that are going to hopefully give them our youth an opportunity to see some new types of competitions. We've got a skill-a-thon, a sales pitch, and showmanship, and we've tried to put together a livestock judging or carcass evaluation. We're still kind of working out some things, but we're trying to give our youth some opportunities to become more engaged in more than just showing. And we think that that's going to be a great asset. I know that Southern States does a skill-a-thon as well. So, everywhere we go, if we can put some of these competitions in front of them, the more they learn, the better they're going to do in their 4-H and FFA programs, the better they're going to do in college, and better they're going to do in life. So hopefully that's kind of the whole basis of the youth committee, is to build our youth for tomorrow so that they can be a greater asset to not only our industry, but the agriculture industry as a whole. We have some specific deliverables to support, the needs, ensure that the prizes that we give away at each of these shows is somewhat consistent. We want to make sure that we're engaging our youth, and we're rewarding them for their time and effort, so that they will want to compete at the next time. We're going to call on some of you individuals over the course of this year to help us at these regional shows that we've had in the past. And so there's quite a few that we believe that can be of great value. Ben, do you want to offer any? I got it. If your name is on here as a member, and we are trying to put this committee together still after, like you said, after Duncan, we're going to really start meeting as a group. So we'll be reaching out to individuals. If you know of any individuals who would love to help us out with the youth and be a part of this committee, we'd be happy to facilitate that. We're going to try to meet once a month and make some difficult decisions. So if you have any interest in the youth committee, not just if your name is on here, please do raise your hand and call on us. Yes. Okay. Do we want to open for any questions on any of the committees? Kathy.
Hello. One is on the post-election results and why that was not published. That's question number one. And question number two is on the regional membership map, if that is going to be updated or altered to reflect the region.
All right, first question. I believe it was. Okay, Brad.
So we decided, I don't know even know what we put out. I hate to say that, but a lot of people called in and wanted to know what vote everybody got. Guys, to me, it was just going to be a slap in somebody's face if they got minimal votes. And we have a hard enough time getting people to sit up here. And so I think we did put out the winning votes and what they received. We thought that was adequate. We also let the other individuals know who run what their vote was, and if they wanted to share that, then they could. So we are not here to, not that any of the votes were embarrassing by any means, but we just didn't want to set a standard, and so that's why we did it the way we did.
Thank you, Brad. And for the second one, that is going to be one of the committee work, so I'll give that to Doug.
Yeah, JR and I were tasked with the idea of taking a look at membership by state and determining whether there is a more appropriate division of the states in order to create districts. That will take, if there is a change, and we look at it every 7 or 8 years to see whether it needs to be changed, and it hasn't. But if a change is due because of shifts from state to state, that'll take a bylaw amendment.
Good. All right, any other questions? Okay. Being none, we're going to move into a little bit more of a fun opportunity here where we can recognize some of the great leaders that we've got. JR, I think you have been tasked with our members of the year.
All right, we had some really good nominations for Member of the Year. It's always tough to sift through those and try to come up with just one. I wish we could give a lot of folks these. But I think this year one really kind of came to the top for us. That sure put in a lot of time for the Dorper breed. This member is one of the probably nicest and most helpful folks I know, and they have sure put in a lot of time all the way across the country at different events and just helping where they can. And you know, the last couple of years has gotten a lot of nominations and graciously hasn't taken it in the past. So we'll make sure he gets it this year. It's definitely deserving. And this year's Member of the Year is Danny Jones.
We're going to take photos over behind the backdrop for everyone who wins one, so just hang around. It won't take long. Our junior member of the year is someone, again, that the board felt like went above and beyond in his both showing career and helping others throughout his career. And so without any further, the junior member of the year is Caleb Welty. And I don't believe he's with us yet. So Caleb will be sent we'll give this with someone to make sure Caleb gets it. He will be here tomorrow. Perfect. All right. The next award is going to be our our Futurity Awards are next. Can I have someone help hand out certificates. And you want to talk about the futurity just a little bit? Is that, okay. All right, we have two categories in the futurity. One is the bred and owned, and the other is the sales, which we did get quite a few nominated today. There's almost $4,000 that is being given away through the Futurity Awards this year. So I've got, Justin will hand you a certificate, and I've got the award list. Let's start with, we're going to start with the 8th place in the Texas division. That is Remy Vlasen. I do not. 7th place, Hannah Hewitt with Leon Patrick Farm 211. And Remy was with L&K Sheep Company 2309. 6th place is Dwayne Hudson. Dwayne Hudson showed quarter circle T 2340 and was 6th place. 5th place, Hensley Hortz. I know I saw Hensley here somewhere. There she is. Hensley showed RR Dorper's North 2293. 4th place, Hannah Hewitt with Leon Patrick Farms 188. Third place was Claire Martin with Spikes Farm 697. Second place, Paisley Lord with SY Livestock 2857. And in first place, Paisley Lord with Spikes Farm MGS 715. Let's give the Midwest Division. 7th place is Meyer Lambert with Century Dell Farm 0349. Sixth place was Mace Lambert with East Star Livestock 2318. Fifth place was Meyer Lambert with Manger Farm 1507. Fourth place, Taylor Binkley with Day Livestock LLC 890. Third place is Jess Vaught with S Bar T Livestock 2031 BK. Second place is Briar Day with Eggs 818. And first place, Caleb Welty with S Bar T Livestock 1855. Next is our South Division. Second place is Dominic De La Cruz with Eggs 762. And in first place is Dominic De La Cruz with Eggs 879. Oops. Our West Division is in second place is Ella Weaver, Eggs 799. Just tell her. And in first place, Ella Weaver with RR Dorper's North 2262. And our East Division, Elizabeth Schubel with Fleetwood Farms 2316. Our Bred and Owned Division is next. In 10th place, we have Taylor Binkley with TJB Binks Family Farm 930. In 9th place, we have Taylor Brody Binkley with BBB Binks Family Farm 874. In 9th place, Taylor Binkley with TJB Binks Family Farm 871. 8th place was Addison Deer with Deer Dorpers 1130. 7th place, Caleb Welty with Welty Dorpers 0051. 6th place, Alfred McDaniel with M Bar W Ranch 22042. In 5th place is Alfred McDaniel with M Bar W Ranch 22040. In 4th place is Hannah Hewitt with Arrow H Dorpers AH 36. Wait. In 3rd place, Hannah Hewitt, Arrow H Dorpers AH 24. In 2nd place, Alfred McDaniel with M Bar W Ranch 2301. And our 1st place, Bred and Owned, which is Paisley Lord with Arrow S Sheep Company 0177. The overall Bred and Owned was Paisley Lord. We do have a banner for her. She's not here. And the overall champion for the sales is Caleb Welty with S Bar T Livestock 1855BK. So we'll get him his banner tomorrow. These kids are, like I said, they will be mailed a check. We've taken the $4,000 and we've divided it out amongst the top winners. I think we went as far down as 10 in some, and most of the ones on the 10 in the Bred and Owned, and all of the ones in the different divisions for the open sales are going to be receiving a check for some amount. I believe the minimum amount is going to be $150. So up all the way up to $250. So we've got, that was last on our agenda for the youth.
We need the ages of these kids to go to the office after this, so
Okay.
we can split their ages.
Okay. Before we go to the scholarships, I have one quick announcement. We need the ages on these individuals. So if you guys could go to the office afterwards and help us out with your age. Ashley Woods, Clayton Clark, Laney, Ralph and Riley Bigner. So if you could go, we need your exact age. So if you could just step into the office real fast. So this year was the first year that we've put together a scholarship, and I want to give some credit to some individuals. The youth committee as a whole was very instrumental. The co-chair for that was Leanne Winders, who's not here. And then that was tasked out to Aaron Day to help put together the first ever scholarship for the American Dorper Sheep Breeder Society. And we are very happy that we had some great applicants this year. We had a scholarship committee, and then we had we also had 3 individuals who judged these applicants. We had Diane Moy, Tom Clark, and Danny Jones. So we want to give those 3 people thank you for spending your time with these individuals. All right, for the first award for scholarship goes to Ethan Marshall. Ethan received a scholarship for $2,250. Our second awardee is Sydney Phipps in the amount of $2,000. Our next one is Hensley Hortz with the amount of $1,500. And our last one is Peyton Nix in the amount of $1,500. Thank you, Aaron. We have a couple of retiring board members recognized. Justin, you want to task that out?
Did we say who's doing what?
No. You want to call on?
Did we say who was going to?
I saw something on the script that I'm supposed
Yep,
to
go for it.
Brad. Okay. All right.
I'll get it out for you.
Oh, you had something written.
Oh, I did?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, right there. Now I am going to ad lib a little bit. So I'll read the script just because I don't want to go too far off script, but I'm liable to do that. But it is my honor to recognize Brad Rader this evening, who has served as the president of our board for the past year. Brad has made many progressive changes for the betterment of the society and will still make impactful change as he continues to serve as a board member. Brad, on behalf of the board of directors and the entire organization, we want to present you with an award. But I can't say enough for Brad and for the effort that he put forth. Knowing him as a county extension agent and all of the responsibilities he has there, and to go above and beyond that, and to be president of our organization and lead this so well. Again, Brad, thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you, sir. Yes, yes. Yes, awesome.
Is there a script?
Congratulations, Brad. It's an honor to recognize our second retiring board member, and that is Danny Jones, for his time and energy spent with the society, allowing us to move forward. On behalf of the directors and the entire organization, Danny, congratulations, and thank you for all your work. Both Brad Rader and Danny Jones have been key members of our board of directors. Their contributions have been invaluable over the duration of their terms, and we certainly appreciate the substantial time commitment and a lot of side committees and side projects that, whether it may be as simple as a paint crew or it may be something far more than that, but we appreciate the dedication of our retiring board members. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Before we close out the evening, I do have a couple of housekeeping. We've nicknamed this our problem list, but I promise you it's not because of, it could be handwriting, it could be something else. We just need for the following individuals to stop by the office to help clarify some of the substitutions and changes. 4C Dorpers, SP Dorpers, Hudson Horts, Aquila Creek, Rock Solid Ranch, Saddle Creek Dorpers, Trinity M Farms, Red Raven, Manger Farms, Fred Gillum, and Six Hills. A lot of these, it's just one simple change, but we just want to make sure we get those correct. Last, I'd like to take the opportunity to just thank you for naming me as the executive director and having the faith in me. I am excited about the next couple of years as the Dorpers continue to grow in the United States and reach beyond their current grounds where they are right now. I'm really hoping to take this and grow with you as an organization. So thank you, and I look forward to meeting so many of you that I haven't had a chance to meet. And if you haven't met me, tap me on the shoulder. Please meet me while I'm here. I may be busy, but I'm never too busy to say hello. So also tomorrow morning, we're gonna I've already said that we'll have a quick youth meeting afterwards. Tomorrow we'll begin at 8 o'clock with the youth show, and with the Pens of Two at 8:30. I know it's a packed couple of days, but we'll have some fun while we're here.
So I committed to try to get us out of here in an hour, and I think we've almost done that. We started a little bit late, so I think we're right at an hour, so I won't belabor us anymore. I would like to say I really appreciate Carla and the entire board of directors. They're really putting a lot of time and effort in trying to really represent you as members. And as I said in my note to you through the Dorper report, please reach out to us when you have opportunities that we need to address or ideas of how we can do more or have a bigger impact. We do have some resources that we're willing to invest in growing the breed. So we need your ideas. It's not just 9 board members, but we need your ideas to be able to help facilitate what we're trying to do together collectively. So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn? And a second. It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the meeting. Any discussion? Having none, those in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.